Now, Liz, in a marriage, the relationship's a very important thing.
Yes, it is.
And the man should be treated like a king in his kingdom.
Why do I feel I need a lawyer here?
I'm saying that with a smirk, because back in the 1950s there was this book written called basically for high school girls on how to prepare themselves for their married life and how they should treat their husbands. It's quite comical. And what better way than to discuss relationships than to speak with Sonya, our relationship expert. Welcome aboard, Sonya.
Hi, nice to be here again.
Great to have you back.
Thanks.
Now, the 1950s textbook on how to be a good wife.
Yeah, I think it's really funny. I thought we'd read a couple of things from the textbook. So one says, prepare yourself. Take 15 minutes to rest so you will be refreshed when he arrives. Touch up your makeup, put a ribbon in your hair, and be fresh looking. He has just been with a lot of work-weary people. Be a little gay and a little more interesting. His boring day may need a lift.
What do you reckon, Liz?
I'm just going to smile.
I just like the way it opens up. Prepare yourself. It makes it sound like you're a chicken about to be roasted.
It's just like waiting for the stuffing and the basting.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. I mean, I think these are really representative of a time period, and it's interesting to look at, how things have progressed over the years as well. I think so often we have some of the same desires. Men still really like to feel good when they come home. I don't think that's changed. I know my husband likes that as well.
Yeah, I like a foot spa myself. Yeah. Grapes to be peeled.
Yeah.
But in that era, the wife was at home and the man worked. This era, everybody works. Yeah. It's full-time work.
Exactly.
And you'll find that if the men will pitch in with the housework, the woman will pitch, it's like it's a joint thing. So.
Yeah, I think it's about finding more balance now.
Definitely partnership, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think, men might want this and women might want this. There's still the feminine desire to nurture and to be present for her husband.
Exactly.
And so it's really just about being able to find that balance about what fits both people in the marriage. I think that's a super huge key.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, let's move along. Let's have a look at the next tip on how to be a good wife.
So another one was prepare the children. Take a few minutes to wash the children's hands and faces if they are small, comb their hair, and if necessary, change their clothes. They are little treasures, and he would like to see them playing the part.
Oh, isn't that beautiful?
That is beautiful.
It's just like,
It's a really beautiful picture. I know that my daughters would not go for that.
It's like the Von Trapp children, right? Children, light up now.
Yeah, it is. It's an interesting thing because I think it doesn't allow people to be very authentic or express themselves. Where it's kind of like that idea with kids of be seen, not heard. Yeah. That was a very common thing then.
And also, too, these days, a lot of kids... You don't do that. They're dinner at separate times because dad's doing shift work or that, and most times kids are doing TV in front of the TV, dinner in front of the TV. So it's not that family. I reckon go back to those days. They were good days.
I think even in those times when you go back to that kind of environment, sometimes we have that at home as well.
Exactly.
I think a lot of times, it's not able to be exactly like it used to be.
Exactly.
And there needs to be more balance for the kids as well. So it's a really interesting, I love looking at this, it's very funny.
Yes.
I love this next one.
Yeah, so some don'ts. Don't greet him with problems or complaints. Don't complain if he's late for dinner. Count this as minor compared with what he might have gone through that day.
It's been hard. It's hard being a man.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. And it's so funny because I think women, as the feminine, as soon as the man walks through the door, they want to talk. They want to connect. They want to communicate. Yeah. And so it's interesting to look at, how much suppression there was going on back there in marriages.
I think men talk more these days anyway. Like, back then, like you said, it was a whole different era, come in, pamper, sit down, I'll get you the paper and your slippers. Where men are actually more communicative now as well.
Yeah.
We're in touch with our sensitive side and we like to talk.
Yeah, especially if the woman's at home and that's her only source of person that she sees. Of course she wants to share. It's about sharing, whether it's the negative or the positive. So it's about sharing.
Yeah, and I think that's an important part of relationships and marriage these days is there needs to be the sharing. Yes. There needs to be the connection and the time for each other.
Mm-hmm. And so have we got one more? Before we wrap
one more. And it says, listen to him. You may have a dozen things to tell him, but the moment of his arrival is not the time. Let him talk first.
Yes. We do
so
need
it kind of
our
goes back
therapy.
to that same thing. Yeah.
It's very interesting. It is from a generation ago. And, I reckon if I tried some of these with my wife, I'd probably get a brick thrown at me. Okay, I have enough. And most blokes I know wouldn't try anything with this with their wives. So
Yeah, I think it's very unbalanced back then, and I think it's really interesting to look at now as we're entering marriage in this wedding episode, that we really begin to talk about the balance and how to honor each other.
It'd be great to have a book of the 2000. Reinvamp that to see what our day is.
Yeah.
It's all about sharing the love here on Beyond. Stay tuned, more wedding tips.